All right, everyone. So NBA insider Brian Windhorst reacted to Jason Tatum's return and how he's looked since his return from Achilles injury. Let's
I
react.
don't think this could have gone better for Tatum and the Celtics. Okay, now if he had looked shaky and rusty and he had started 2 and 15 shooting, I would have been on here this morning, Shay, saying, "Hey, take it easy. Don't overreact to a bad performance. Give him some time." So I'm going to say the same thing. Take it easy. Let's not just assume that all of a sudden, because he's looked relatively good, that the Celtics are going to run away with this. Having said this, I was having a difficult time over the last month or two trying to discern the difference between these top four teams in the Eastern Conference. And I agree with what you said on this, Vince, that it's going to come down to health and it's going to come down to matchups and it's going to come down to who has a good shooting streak. Because yesterday, for example, the Cavs went ice cold in the second quarter of this game, and some of it was the Celtics defense, some of it was they just missed shots. But Tatum.
So I think it's important to understand that when you listen to what Windhorst is saying here, there's a few things. First, this is why Jason Tatum coming back now was the right move. Now, if he wasn't fully healthy or if he, was at an injury risk, of course you don't bring him back. But if everybody's telling you, look, the doctors are saying he's good to go, this is why you bring him back now and you don't wait that extra month or 2 months. If he's good to go, not at risk of re-injury, you bring him back because it alleviates a lot of the pressure. It's like Windhorst was saying. I was getting basically what Windhorst was saying is I was already gonna come on TV and kind of give an excuse if Tatum played bad, because that excuse would be right. It's like, "Hey, we gotta give the guy time." And Tatum did in the first game start a little slow, but then he picked it up in the second half. But the point is that by bringing him back now, you give him time to get back into the swing of things without it being, "Oh, by the way, first round of the playoffs." No. You bring them back now. Certainly, they're still fighting for the 1 seed, but these games have a lot less to them than they would have. That's just the bottom line, right? That's just the truth. And so all the people that were like, "Oh, why is he coming back now? This and that." This is the reason. And I don't wanna hear, okay? I don't wanna hear, "Well, what if he gets hurt again?" As long as the doctors have cleared him, then there's no reason why he can't return when he did. If the doctors are saying this guy's good to go, there's no risk of re-injury, you get him out on the floor as soon as possible, and he's playing absolutely unreal. When you talk about the difference between the top 4 teams, Jason Tatum is now gonna become that difference. He is a difference maker for the Celtics. You look at him defensively, you look at him rebounding the ball. Everyone wants to focus on his scoring. For the Celtics, the rebounding numbers, the defensive ability, all of that is gonna add to the team. There's nobody on the team that could give you that type of production on both of those accounts. Even Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown's great, okay? I've always said that although I think Tatum's the best player, it's a 1A, 1B, not a number 1 and a number 2, right? It is 2 number 1s on this team. But Brown doesn't always give you the same type of rebounding numbers and assist numbers that Tatum can get you. So, I love that they brought him back.
Guys, he looks pretty good. Like he's one of the things I was watching was, does he go into his step back game? Because the step back is what he hurt that Achilles on. Right out of the gate on Friday, he went to the step back. Now, I'm sure he would never have come back if he didn't trust it, but I just wanted to see it. They're not letting us watch these practices, and I thought he looked good. I thought his explosion to the basket looked relatively good. He was able to get to the foul line. Now, let me say, tomorrow night, the Celtics are playing a very interesting game in San Antonio. I didn't feel that the Cavs targeted Tatum. The Cavs had some different things in their game plan. They were going at Sam Hauser, for example, coming out of the gate. They had Sam Merrill as the defender on Tatum to start the game. I will be interested to see tomorrow, after the Spurs, who are maybe the hottest team in the league right now, have now watched Jason Tatum play 2 games in 54 minutes, if they go at him a little bit and test him. So that's the next thing I want to see. A great week coming up for Jayson Tatum at San Antonio on Tuesday, at Oklahoma City on Thursday. Let's revisit this at the end of the week, guys. But I couldn't be more pleased with how good Tatum looked, and I definitely have Boston at the top of my list in the Eastern Conference right now.
So, I think what Windhorst is saying really at the end of the day doesn't matter, his last point there. It's like, let's see if the Spurs go at Tatum. They might, right? That might matter for the next game against the Spurs, but Jason Tatum has never been a liability defensively. He just hasn't, since he's been in the league. So this idea that come playoff time, he's going to be targeted in any way, shape, or form, I don't think makes a whole lot of sense. This is why you want to give him the time. Because let's say he came back right before the playoffs. This would be a real concern. Is he back in game shape in time? He's getting back in game shape while he's out there. And so even if the Spurs go at him, this isn't something that's going to come up to be in the playoffs. Jason Tatum is not going to, it's like, why were they going at Hauser? Well, because Hauser is not as good of a defender. That's why they were going at Hauser. Like, if you build your game plan, if that's the Spurs game plan or the Thunder's game plan, that we're going to expose Jason Tatum, next week, that ain't gonna work, right? It might work for that one game, but it's not something that come finals time is gonna be paying off for them. And if they really change their entire game to go after Tatum, I think that would be a poor decision, a very poor decision. Because if Tatum wasn't up for it, Missoula takes him out, no big deal, right? And you just have the Celtics team we've seen be able to get the second place in the East without Tatum. So I just think it's all been good news, and the media was the one driving the narrative about whose team is it, Jalen Brown or Jason Tatum? Should they bring him back? Aren't they risking injury? This was all media driven nonsense, in my view. Nonsense. Made zero sense. Was not in any way, shape, or form an accurate representation of what was gonna happen, and shockingly, right, to the media now, it's like, "Oh my god, they're 2-0 since Tatum came back." It's like, yeah, it turns out bringing back Tatum when he's fully healthy, he still needs to get in game shape, he looked a little stiff to start, but everything else, he's looked phenomenal so far. In his game, he's a good shooter, right? He's starting to find his legs a little bit again on attacking the rim. So I love everything we've seen so far with JT and hoping it continues.